Alright, this is going to be part 7 of Tales of Destiny Director's Cut. Let's talk to the king for more details, apparently. Let me get that back up here. Camera's being wonky today, so I'm not going to use it. Just a title scene. A lot of those are kind of just... I don't know, the humor falls a little flat in this game for me, so... The king says, "Thank you, Swordian Masters, for taking the time to gather here. I'm sorry for this blunder. Really, I can't even begin to apologize." Woodrow says, "First of all, let us know what happened. Who used a Draconis to steal the Eye of Atimony?" It was Leon. Stan says, "Leon, what?" Dryden says that's why he says he's the one who took the Eye of Atimony, which is just poor translation. Stan follows that up with, "Such nonsense. There's no way Leon would do something like that." The king says, "Unfortunately, it's true. Leon took the Draconis that was in the castle. Shortly thereafter, we received a report that the eye had been stolen." Dimlo says, "What was Chaltier doing? There was no way he could just sit back and let that happen." Atwhite says, "I feel like I'm being subjected to one hell of a nightmare." Dryden says, "At the same time, Hugo, Oberon's general manager, also disappeared." Dryden says, "We believe the two of them to be colluding with one another." Urti says, "Does that mean Oberon will be involved? This is getting weird. Do you have any idea where the Draconis was headed?" The king says, "While we waited for you to assemble, we conducted a survey with our full force. As a result, we had a rough idea of where to look. It was a small island northeast of here." Dryden says, "The island was once home to an Oberon factory." Dryden continues, "Even after they shut it down, the facility still remained. There's a good chance they're hiding in there." Kongman says, "If you know that, why don't you just punch it in?" Dryden says, "If we make a big deal out of it, they might notice. We can't afford to let them get away with it." "And that's where we come in," says Woodrow. The king says, "I'd like to ask you all to infiltrate the Oberon factory. If you find the Eye of Atimony, I want you to retrieve it at all costs. As far as Leon Magnus is concerned, you decide what to do at that time. It's best to capture him, but if it's too difficult, he can live or die." Philia says, "That means we may have to fight Leon." The king says, "I understand that this is difficult for you as well, but as long as the matter involves the eye, it is unavoidable." Stan says, "I don't like it. Leon is our friend. We've been through a lot. We retrieved the eye together from a guy who's dead now. There's no way that Leon would do the same thing. I don't want to assume that Leon is the bad guy and act accordingly." Dimlo says, "You're too naive." Stan says, "I'm not done talking. I'm sure Leon has some plan for this, so I'm heading to the Oberon factory to find out." The king says, "The eye is our first priority. Don't forget that." Dryden says, "Our ships will take you to the island where the factory is located. There's a ship at the border. Please board it along with the soldiers." So much of this translated dialogue is kind of redundant. I'm sure the people that are doing it just wanted to have like a faithful translation, but redundancy could also have been removed in a lot of areas. Like, once you go to board the ship, you need to board it. I'm like, there's a lot of instances of that where I'm like, what the hell? Why did they leave that in? But, I mean, what do I know? I can't translate Japanese into English, so I'm sure there's a lot of nuance and various other things that make it a little tricky. Plus, this game, just like, ugh, goodness, when do I get to just transport myself wherever I want to go? I feel like I should have the Draconis at this point. Maybe that's what'll happen after this, hopefully. Philia says, "How is Stan doing?" Ruti says he's just standing there, on the deck, with a scary look on his face. Woodrow says, "I see." Ruti says he's too good-natured. I told him to learn to be a little less trusting. Chelsea says, "Stan, I hope you're okay." Mary says Stan has a lot of compassion for people, that's why he's suffering. Woodrow says it's up to all of us to support him. Kongman says right. Jimlo says Stan. I believe in Leon no matter what happens, says Stan. Plus, like, I feel like the talking swords, like, you could remove all their dialogue and the game would function basically the same. Like, they don't really have anything that interesting to say. They just kind of repeat shit. And the cast of characters being this large is also a problem for me because there's a lot of just concurrence in scenes. Like, oh, we gotta have everyone say something, so we're just gonna write in a bunch of nonsense dialogue. Philia says, "Is this the factory?" Stan says, "Leah, are you sure we're in the right place?" Woodrow says, "Anyway, let's check it out." Like, and all that dialogue is also unnecessary. But that's okay. Alright, probably need to shoot that thing. Oh, gotta get closer. Just question mark. Okay, game. this thing just doesn't work sometimes. It's kind of obnoxious. Failing to see what the benefit of this particular thing is. designing a factory like this would be, though. I wish this game had like a Wild Arms 2 like feature where you could kind of skip some of these battles when you're not vibing it. There's other games I've played that have had like no puzzles in certain rooms. I mean, no encounters in puzzle rooms, just because it gets like super old. Yeah, should go back into that box, I guess. Down, I guess. There was like a note on the wall. Why do we put this thing here if it has no purpose? Say this before, but if the Oberon group is behind us, it makes sense why Irene would be in her house earlier. letters on a piece of paper. Well, that might be something I need for later. So let's take a picture of it. This guide is terrible. Let's see if there's a different one. Guides that will help me with this, perhaps. So I just gotta do it the hard way. That was a loud trip. I live on a really tight residential street. A lack of decent parking, so for someone to be driving like that, it's pretty dumb. Great way to hit someone's car. I didn't even realize it was an option because I couldn't move on them before, so I swear this shouldn't be this crazy, but I'm wrong. We're gonna do some more of that nonsense, I guess. Okay, to the right. Wow, this is just designed to piss people off. There's really no reason to have this be so awful. be tons of guides on this because it has only been translated for a couple months. That's what this game needs, more pointless rooms. Red, blue, purple, yellow, orange. I don't even care if I miss any items in this place anymore, it's just so annoying, I don't even want to explore it. Stan says, are we in a cave now? Philia says, I didn't know there was such a place under the factory. Chelsea says, this place is kinda scary. Woodrow says, let's hurry up and finish our investigation. If we don't find anything, we'll get out of here. Stan says, right. Nightmare start? That sounds great. It's like a maze. Resist Sonic. Allows you to move as fast as a falling star. Or so it is advertised. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I'll just wait a level before I upgrade that. I should check on my Swordian things. Woodrow says, there he is. Stan says, Leon. I didn't expect you to chase me this far, says question mark. Atwhite says, that voice. Ruti says, we already know who you are. Why don't you take off that hideous disguise? Question mark says, you're a brave one, young lady. It's Hugo. Philia says, you are the mastermind behind all of this? What are you gonna do with the eye? Ruti says, are you gonna act like some kind of king of monsters? Hugo says, that's just a side benefit of the eye. What if I told you this was my plan all along? Tempting Greybum and convincing him to steal the eye. Having him take it all over the world. What if that was all part of my plan? I was gonna get rid of him when I was done anyway. In disposing of him for me, you saved me some effort. I'm quite grateful. Ruti says, we didn't do it for you. Don't get carried away. Hugo says, that angry face, just like your mother. Ruti says, what? Hugo says, well, I'm a busy man with little time. I'm sorry to leave you, but I must be on my way now. Stan says, Leon, stop Hugo, please. Leon, I knew it. You have to have a plan, don't you? Stan says, Leon, I knew it. Leon says, go on ahead, I'll hold them off here. Leon has apparently betrayed us. Dimlo says, what's going on, Chaltier? Stan says, Leon, you're kidding, right? Ruti says, do you have any idea what you're doing? Leon says, I understand what I'm doing far more than you will. Whew, it's a lot of level ups. Stan says, Leon, stay with me. Leon says, one-on-one, I wouldn't have lost. Stan says, you idiot, why are you doing this? Chaltier says, please don't blame him. He had no choice to do this to protect his loved one. Leon says, Chal, you're saying too much. You all saw her at Hugo's Manor, remember? Stan says, the maid who brought me Dimlos? Atwhite says, so she's been taken hostage, but that doesn't mean you're doing the right thing. Dimlos says, you're still a Swordian master. Leon says, say whatever you want. I don't have a shred of regrets, rather. Even if I were reborn 100 times, I would choose the same path. I'm not letting you through. Stan says, you stupid idiot, why are you so stubborn? You're making a mistake. Leon says, I already made up my mind. Stan says, that's why I'm saying you're wrong about being alone. Why can't you just understand that? Ruti says, Stan, be careful. Leon says, stay back. Stan says, why didn't you talk to me about it? Why'd you try to do this all by yourself? We're friends, why didn't you tell me? Why? Leon says, stay back. Stan says, you're on your own, suffering. Why are you the only one having a hard time? Why are you the only one getting hurt? Friends are supposed to help each other through the hard times. How could you not know that? Leon says, even after everything, you still consider me to be your friend? Stan says, of course. It's not too late to come with us. We're gonna take it all back. We'll take the eye of we'll take back the eye and Marion. Leon says, you're a real piece of work. Stan says, let's shake hands and make up. Come on. And something is happening. Mary says an earthquake in the middle of nowhere. The game is making fun of its own plot at that point. Leon says, Hugo has already begun. Stan says, are you saying that Hugo caused this? Philia says, even though you're still here? Leon says, that's the type of person Hugo is. Woodrow says, Chelsea, go see if the elevator is safe. Chelsea says, yes, sir. Chelsea says, the ceiling collapsed, we can't go back. Well, then go forward. Kongman says, what are we gonna do? We might get buried alive. Philia says, what's that sound? Clemente says, the cave is collapsing and seawater is flowing in. Atwhite says, no, this place will be completely submerged. Leon says, there's a way out. Look over there. Oh, God. It's an emergency lift. Everyone hurry up and get in. Stan says, you too, Leon. I can't come with you, says Leon. I guess it's suicide time. To move the lift, someone needs to operate the lever. Stan says, what are you talking about? Leon says, Ruti, I'll tell you what you deserve to know. Hugo's deceased wife, her name was Chris Katria. Chris was also my mother. Ruti says, what? As much as I hate to admit it, the same blood flows through our veins. Ruti says, you're lying. Stan says, Leon, get over here, we'll talk later. Leon says, Stan, you call me your friend, but I don't remember ever agreeing to that. I can't stand overly laid-back, careless, friendly people like you. Okay, for the 800th time. And that's why I leave the rest to you. At this point in the game, I still don't see that there's any point to these talking swords. Leon! Leon! Oh no. Alright, the cave is being flooded. Leon says the water will fill this place soon. Sorry you had to get stuck with me like this. The sword says I'll be by your side no matter what. You'll always be my young master. Leon says this is the right thing to do. Right, Marion? Woodrow says the Draconis is here. Let's get on that thing and get out of here. Stan says we can't leave Leon. We have to go back. Dimlo says it's impossible. Stan says there's no way I'm leaving Leon behind. Kongman says calm down. Don't get out of control. Mary says, Ruti, keep your head up. Ruti says, this can't be. I don't believe you. Why would he be my brother? Stan says, get off me, Kongman. Kongman says, no. Everyone's just trying to get Stan to chill out. Woodrow says, do you have any idea how determined Leon was to help us get out? You're wasting his sacrifice. Get into the Draconis. You and Ruti get inside as well. Yeah. Some pretty weak writing. Yep, just in the nick of time. Woodrow says we somehow managed to escape. Chelsea says, Woodrow, something's wrong with the ocean. Clemente says it can't be. It's a big dildo. Dildo Island? Umbrella Island? What is it, a satellite? Woodrow says, what the hell is that thing? Clemente says, Diecroft, it's back. Philia says, what's that? Clemente says it's an aerial city that was once used in the Aether Wars. There are energy reactions all over the world. Perhaps it's other airborne cities? Dimlo says, I didn't think they'd come back all at once. I guess I was completely conspired against. Clemente says, it seems that Hugo's goal was to revive the aerial city. Atwhite says, the Eye is also the power source for these cities. Woodrow says, that's what Hugo was talking about, the essence of the divine Eye. Atwhite says, now we know why Greybum has been touring the world. He was preparing to use the Eye of Atimony to revive the aerial cities. In hindsight, it all makes sense. Mary says, what's that? The city is glowing at the bottom. Dimlo says, no, it's Belcrant. Yeah, let's not tell the characters anything about the plot until this late in the game. Like, these Swordian things are pretty stupid. Either that or the writers just are pretty stupid, or some combination of all of it. Okay. It shot that landmass, and I guess that makes the landmass grow bigger. Yep. Philia says there's a big hole in the earth. Kongman says, my god. Woodrow says, Hugo, what are you planning? Stan says, don't be ridiculous. This is bullshit. This is the Aether Wars? What's the city in the air? It's because of that crap that Leon is ... Terrible translation. Philia says, Stan. Dimlo says, what are you doing? What do you think? We're gonna avenge Leon. Hugo, because of people like you, I will never forgive you. Doesn't make any sense. Dimlo says, calm down, Stan. Like, it would have made more sense to say, I'll never forgive you because of what you did to Leon. Like, something that makes more sense. And it's like, if this guy's motivation was so determined to betray the world and his king and his friends or whatever, then why is he gonna, like, change his mind at the last minute? Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Apparently we can't fly up there for unknown reasons. Yay, we got something that could do fast travel and then we broke it immediately. Good job, game. That's not annoying at all. Stan says, where is this place? Kongman says, it looks like it crashed near the castle of Synagald. Clemente says, the position is above the altitude limit. Stan says, damn it, once again. What's going on? What the hell are you doing? Move. Atwhite says, it's probably damaged. Dipshit. At this rate, we won't be able to fly. Stan says, damn it all. Woodrow says, we'll have to go back to the city. Philia says, we need to discuss what to do from there. Ew. The sky's all ugly now. Womp womp wompity womp. Woodrow says the inhabitants of the city are quite upset. No wonder. If you were shown such an aerial city and even attacked. Dryden says, what the hell is this? Reynolds says, such a huge building is floating in the sky. And that intense light, what a tremendous amount of technology. Kongman says, why are you excited when your country is being destroyed? Clemente says, indiscriminate, crustal, fracturing, weapon, Belcrant. That's the true nature of the light released from Dycroft. Dimlo says, as the name implies, it aims to destroy the ground. Woodrow says, you said the aerial city was used in the Ether Wars? Atwhite says, I have no choice but to tell you the truth. 1,000 years ago, there was a great war involving humankind. It was the ground forces to which we belonged, and as such, the heavenly army of the aerial city. Philia says it wasn't just a legend after all then. Dimlo says the Eye of Adamony played a big role in the Aether War. It was a sword caught up in a worldwide calamity. I'm sorry I didn't say anything. We wanted to erase the memory of the Aether War from the history of mankind, so as not to repeat the mistakes of the past, but as a result, the city has been revived. People of the world, do you see our power? Clemente says, Hugo, what are you doing? What you see above you is the aerial city of the Aether War that we have revived from 1,000 years long sleep. Hugo says, for what, of course, to bring the glory of the heavenly world back to this world. A new war for heaven and earth has just begun. Instead of greeting him, I gave Synagald a Belcrant blow. It's ours, the ultimate power that can only be called overwhelming and truly divine. In the past, there were many aerial cities that flourished in this world. However, after the last war, all the aerial cities were buried in darkness. But let's just say that it was a fatal mistake for humanity. Take a look at the world you live in. Can't read the top line. It's not even close to what it was 1,000 years ago, and where strife and poverty continue abated. Let's be clear, humanity has made no progress in the last 1,000 years. I don't know. The development of humanity will remain hopeless. We decided to create a new world of the truly talented, the chosen ones. The plan that started 1,000 years ago must now be realized. We do not forgive anyone, and no exceptions are allowed. The earthly world's people crawl on the ground like insects. I will confine everything on the earth to darkness. Please wait with trembling expectations. Mwahahaha. Okay. Dimlo says, oh, Hugo, are you gonna pretend to be the king of the heavenly world? Clemente says, the way he talks is like that man. Woodrow says, what should I do now? Even if you use the Draconis, you cannot reach that city. Philia says, is there no way for us to compete? Stan says, no, not yet. We can't let this go unanswered. Can you hear me, Hugo? Who gave you the right to do as you please? I will definitely have my retribution. Do you understand? You'll regret your actions. That spirit, young master, well said, says the question mark voice. Dimlo says it can't be. Wielders of the Swordians, now is not the time to become disheartened. It's still possible to emerge victorious. I guess it's one of the other swords. Mercurius Riker. He was the one who once led us as the commander of the ground forces. In case of an emergency, I transcribed my personality to a core crystal. Philia says, where does your voice come from? Clemente says, the communication function that is built into me is being used. Now I'm in the heart of Radazral. The strategy meeting is carried out immediately from this. Gather the team and hurry. It is the first call order in 1,000 years. Stan says, Riker, I'm sure you'll get by, right? We can still do something about it, right? Riker says, that's right. Good God. So much redundant dialogue. Riker says, don't be afraid. Under any circumstances, use all means to accomplish your mission. That's the Swordian team. Stan says, alright, I understand. Everyone, let's head out right away. Riker says, I've already picked up the Sea Dragon. Try going outside. Radazral was moved to the sea, awaiting your arrival. Reynolds says, Your Excellency, I would like to work with them to gather information. Dryden says, you have my permission. Juicy. Woodrow says, is this the place? Riker says, I'm in the central area in the back. Please work your way to me. Is this the room where Clemente was kept? Yes. Riker says, welcome, team. After so many years, I'm relieved to be able to gather with everyone again like this. Dimlo says, it's a holographic image. Riker says, as a new master, there are still many things you may not understand. I will answer your questions and determine your resolve. Woodrow says, there's something I need to know right now. What is Hugo trying to do? Riker says, terraforming the Earth to create the outer shell. The chunks of Earth broken up by the Belkrant are drawn into the sky to create a new layer. That is the formation of the outer shell of the Earth. Clemente says, spreading like ivy in the sky is the newly formed outer shell itself. It's about 25% complete. I estimate that if Belkrant fires 3 more blasts, the sky will be completely covered. Philia says, if that happens, the Earth we are on will be ? Riker says, it'll be a world of darkness and all life will die out. Riker says, we must stop it before that happens. Stan says, what do we need to do? We'll use the Blitzkrieg strategy like in the last war. We're going to levitate the Radazral to the surface and lie it directly on the Dycroft. The surface? Did Radazral always have such a feature? Riker says, that's right, and get the Swordian team inside Dycroft. Stan says, it's the same thing we were trying to do with the Draconis. Dimlo says, it's like a repeat of what happened 1,000 years ago, all over again. Woodrow says, you think this Radazral can reach the altitudes that the Draconis could not? Riker says yes. Stan says, alright. Riker says the goal is to defeat Hugo and take back the Eye. It's not too late, now, before the outer shell is complete. Philia says it's a race against time. Riker says, therefore, we have to launch the operation as soon as possible and settle this matter at once. Stan says, I'll take care of it. I'll make sure to take out Leon's enemies as well. Dimlo says, Stan, about that. Stan says, yeah. Dimlo says, "No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it." Stan says, "You're a weird one. Why put that in there?" Jesus. Riker says, "Before the mission, there is a place I want you to go. The ruins are located in the Inner Bay area south of the second continent. Here, there's a device called the R key, which is used to levitate the Radis roll. I want you to retrieve it. We're right near the village of Linnea." Stan says, "I didn't realize that." Riker says, "While you go get the key, I'll continue to analyze the information to be able to handle any situation that may arise." Reynolds says, "Let me help." Stan says you can find it at, and then trails off into nothingness. Reynolds says, "This is a problem that should be addressed jointly by all humans on Earth. I too wish to participate in the mission as a representative of Synagald." Dimlo says, "How did this guy even get in here?" Atwhite says, "It looks like they were following us and boarded the Leviathan." Reynolds says, "I can't believe such advanced technology existed back then. Please let me do this. I will do whatever it takes." Philia says, "Isn't it scary for you to be part of this?" Riker says, "We don't have much time. I will put him to work." Woodrow says, "Cool, then we'll go get the key." Philia says, "It's southwest from Radisral. We must go to the ruins and get the R key." Riker says, "Wait," even though he basically just told us to leave. "Please take this." This summons the Leviathan. Okay. Ruti says, "I have a question about Leon. Is it true what he said?" Atwhite says, "I don't have any clear evidence. He knew your mother's name. I don't think he'd lie." Ruti says, "Okay." Mary says, "Ruti." Ruti says, "Sorry, I'm coming." What that does. Is it like guiding me, or is it just pointless? Well, I am gonna spend some time exploring the world and leveling up and upgrading equipment and things like that. I'll probably do another episode later in the day, but I don't know what time. But anyhow, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.